Okay, I'm live and not live in Facebook. I don't know what's going on here. You want Mr. Whiskey's here, right on time. Um, Net new guest, visitor, soon to be a good friend, Barrington. Barrington Reeves joins us from Manchester. Um, Interesting connection. We were on a coach's call yesterday and talking about masculinity. And,
Do you want me to leave?
say it again.
Do you want me to leave?
Oh no, no, no. Not at all. Not at all. Your input. That was yesterday's call. But
Today's call is femininity.
the Barrington and I had some good insight on that. It was Daniel Guild's. I don't know say his last name. Guild, Glyde, Glide, maybe. But his call was very interesting, and so Barrington and I were on that chatting, so we connected. And today he's joining us. He's joining us live on the water cooler. So to give you a quick insight, Margaret and Mr. Whiskey's a he's a what are you doing, Mr.
Masculinity expert. That's what you're trying to say.
He's
Goodness.
he's no stranger to the
I've
water
got a
cooler.
Hawaiian shirt on representing my middle-aged man mindset, and I've got the cowboy hat on to represent my blue-collar life, and I've got a fancy microphone to represent my youth. So got all the men, different types of men going on in one.
I was going to say, you're trying to intimidate me or something.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am. If you should be intimidated by anyone, it's Mr. Steve Wright.
Oh,
He jump ropes and he plays the what is it? The hand pan? The tan pan?
cajon. And I've got a couple of posts I've got to put up because you've been inspiring me this week, Mr. Whiskey, with just think every time I
Thank
jump the
you.
rope, I think of
I
you in
did
a
record
weighted
myself
vest.
jumping rope. But it was a really bad video. You know what? It's hard to jump rope with the cowboy hat. I'll be honest. It throws
Yeah.
me off my game.
Yes.
I bought some ankle weights, 4 pounds each per ankle, and I got a fitness hula hoop. So it's a hula hoop with a 1 pound weight attached to it, and
Wow.
I haven't used it yet. It's actually adjustable, so you can make it any size. And I thought it was a standard size, so I made it, and it could fit like 3 of me. So I'm currently rebuilding it to be the
Oh,
right size.
okay. Okay.
But there will be a video of me maybe shirtless doing the hula hoop.
There you go. There
We'll
you go.
see.
So Barrington, just to it's a bit of the water cooler. The water cooler is something that I've been doing for a while now, almost over a year.
50 years.
Over a year now. It's a Wednesday drop-in call. It has no agenda. It's people in my network. I invite people every week, and it's an opportunity just to kind of to connect. I think that's the main theme of what I do, how I show up in the world is to connect. It's so easy to, especially with technology getting in the way of connection. It's so easy to just assume that you're connected because you've got somebody in your
I just made an
network.
AI post about that.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't AI made. I made it,
there
but it
you
was
go.
about I caught one of my friends sending AI generated text messages. So we can talk about that later. But
Yeah. So this is where this space sits for me, and it's a special kind of I make it's a big rock in my week. I make sure that I as best I can make this happen. It's recorded, so it's live. It's kind of live in LinkedIn, so people can watch a replay. And really,
sometimes
everything's on the
Facebook.
table. We can talk about anything and everything. So if you've got something burning, I mean, I would like to touch on what we were talking about yesterday, Barrington, a bit, um, and also some of the stuff that you do in your space with regards to supporting men, especially Afro Caribbean men. So that's one
Yeah,
thing. Margaret is a. I'll just go around the room to introduce Barrington to these wonderful people. Mr. Whiskey is obviously from America because he's got a cowboy hat on.
thank you, thank you. I actually just woke up. I've only slept 6 hours over the past 3 days,
What?
and I took a 1 hour nap after recording in Australia this morning. I'm in Georgia though, and I woke up to be at this water cooler because not only is it a place of connection, but Mr. Reeves, Margaret, if you're not aware, there is a book about the water cooler being made, and both of y'all can be contributing authors having attended the water cooler live. And ladies and gentlemen watching, if you want to be featured in the Amazing Water Cooler book, written mainly by me and Steve Wright, mainly by me, all you had to do is go to the Restream link. He's got it on his Facebook page, and you can join us right now, or every Wednesday where you're available. In America, we call it Hump Day. I don't know if they call it that in Britain and over there in other countries.
It's not a day that you're sexually active. It's just the day that's in the middle of the week, right?
That confused me as a kid growing up. I'll be honest. You just hear the term Hump Day, and I assumed that all the adults went around humping each other every Wednesday. Later to find out, it's because if the week was a camel, Wednesday would be the hump part of the camel, so to speak. And I was definitely confused about that because the only time I had heard the word humping was my mom was a dog trainer, and we had a Chihuahua who would hump pillows. And so I thought adults just did that to each other every Wednesday. And that was really confusing. I guess everyone assumed that I knew Hump Day was the middle of the week, not realizing the whole time I was like, are these adults meeting up in like a secret, well, now if you watch the news, I guess secret tunnels and secret islands and everything. But as a kid, I was like, what is going on? And that's weird. And like, I don't know. But I have to ask everyone, what do you call a camel with 3 humps?
I don't know.
Pregnant. It's a pregnant camel.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. Catch me at my next stand-up session.
Okay. Speaking of stand-up, there's somebody that I got introduced to from my daughter, David Benaim. Forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong, David. But he's actually lives in Asia, and he's actually in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and he's performing comedy, Excel and mathematics comedy. He's an Excel guru.
Oh,
So
Steve Wright's IT former days are tingling. Steve, I can see the smile on your face. You said math jokes. I'm there.
Math jokes. So I am probably going to see if I can squirrel myself away for half a day and go to Edinburgh. If the weather's like this, it'll be lovely.
Is it skydiving weather? What kind of weather are we talking about?
It's low 30s here. I mean, Barrington said it's 33 where he's at. It's very nice here. It's pretty warm.
Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius? Because it's 108 Fahrenheit here. So
Celsius, bro, not Fahrenheit. We got Carl in the house.
Yeah, he's here to listen to the story I mentioned I would share on your LinkedIn post. Probably your most popular LinkedIn post. And it has nothing to do with work. It was you eating jam-filled donut.
I'm trying to get rid of all the other versions that are echoing in my ear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, and we can see you.
Brilliant.
Good,
How are you all?
Good. Carl, meet Barrington. Barrington's net new here, so be gentle with
Barrington. Pleased to meet you. And Steve, before I forget, your volume seems to be lower than usual.
Oh, okay.
I noticed it last week, but I forgot to mention it.
Yeah, he's getting older, unfortunately.
That is not English. We do not get older.
I don't know if
that's right, Margaret. You tell him.
Yeah.
You tell him.
Where's Paul? He can give you some advice, Steve. He helps guide seniors to better living. So.
Paul, if you're listening in,
how do I speak with youth?
Can I get a
Paul,
mic check?
Send me a Facebook DM.
It's
but I might as well, while Steve's figuring that out, I'll share the story that I mentioned on his LinkedIn. Was I knew a man in the military. I do not like this man, for the record, but if anything bad happens to him, I do like him. I just changed the record. But he eats, not a sponsor, Oreos. He dips them in ketchup. So Oreo, the chocolate vanilla cream cookie, he dips them in ketchup. And that has to be the wildest thing I've heard. Wilder than the chopsticks with the donuts. At least I understand Steve's, train of thought there. But the Oreos and ketchup, it's a flavor combination I've never tried myself. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but just hearing about it and imagining it, I was not enthused.
Yeah. There's one thing about sweet, savory things like sweet chili sauce, where you
Mm.
have something that's kind of typically on a savory dish, but that's got a sweet back taste to it. But dipping a biscuit, a cookie into ketchup would just be strange. And plus, it's not even like dipping it into. If you dipped an Oreo into soup, I could probably get with that one if it's a clear soup, because you might soak up some of the soup into the cookie, right? It's like dunking a biscuit into tea or
No,
coffee.
no, Oreos and
No?
biscuits are not at all alike. Have you had an Oreo, Steve? Do they have those over there, or are they
Yes, we have
made?
Yep.
Oreos, but when we say biscuit, I meant cookie. Sorry
No,
for
I
the
understand
Americans.
what you
Yeah,
mean. Yeah,
when I
sorry,
say
I'm
biscuit
Southern,
over
so
there,
I
it's
did
not
think of
biscuits and gravy.
yeah. Well, what I'll say is I can't judge too much because I experimented in the kitchen once and I made cheesy grits and cheesy omelets with M&Ms mixed into them. But I have a sweet tooth and it was a good combo. Hear me out, Steve. You talk about the sweet and savory, the M&Ms that the way they blended with the cheese and the salt and the savoriness of the eggs in the grits, it was actually quite delectable and it made it colorful, it made it pretty. So it was a good combination.
Hold- see what the young people get up to, Margaret. They're just crazy.
I was about to say, Carl, I'd stop baking cakes for you if you stuck it in ketchup.
Oh, Carl's gonna do. It's got the delay on again. Ah, did you hear
I
that,
thought
Carl?
I thought we taught Carl how to use his phone for this.
Ah, he's coming. He's coming through late. Oh man. What did Paul say?
Fishing,
Let's
eat
bring you on
stuff
to
they
go.
catch
What
live out of
happened?
the water. Oh, yeah. I've seen some videos online of
Mm.
people eating like live octopus and live shrimp and stuff. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
I had, I had a friend. I had a friend. I went. He's Filipino. In the military when I was in San Diego, and we went fishing. We went sort of sea fishing. So we were on a chartered boat for the afternoon, and um, we had live bait. So he got one of the little sardines, and he did he. I don't know if he ate the. I don't think he ate the head, but he bit the head off this this sardine, this live sardine, and he said it was good luck. It's it's kind of like blessing the bait, so to speak. And I don't know if it worked or not, whether it's true or not, but we caught some serious yellowtail
Yeah.
um,
So it
um,
worked.
fish. Yeah, it did. I landed my biggest ever fish ever. It must have been about, I don't know, 15,
Wait,
20 pounds.
Paul's mentioning something here that I've seen in my one ex was half Mexican and her mom was from Mexico, and they would make I think it's called a mole, and it's a chocolate sauce, but it's a more bitter chocolate sauce, and they would put it with rice and chicken. Um, so pork belly with that doesn't seem too odd.
Mm. You can mix sweet and
Of course you
savory.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, you
You
can.
Yeah, because I'm always a nice guy, and my exes are always mean, so I've always had a sweet savory combo my whole life. Done streets of London, but
Stop.
but yeah, I want to share about the Oreos and ketchup because I saw your LinkedIn post and I was confused. You emptied all the jam out of the donut. Maybe I read that wrong.
Yeah, jam
And replaced it
donuts
with yogurt.
jam donuts are kind of injected with the jam, and the jam isn't that great. And to Carl's point, he used a strawberry conserve, which is a lot better. Um, it's a lot better than the jam that you get that's in a filled donut. So I basically scooped that out and then sort of replaced it with a vanilla yogurt, which is um, it's um, it's a plant based sauce. So it was nice. It complemented it nicely,
Mm.
being too overpoweringly sweet. It's already
Carl got tired of the deliver with agility jokes. He changed his title so I couldn't say Carl here deliver with agility. He went ahead and changed it. He said, if I hear one more play on words from Mr. Whiskey, I'm done.
No, I've come back in with Safari. Let's see
Okay.
how that goes.
That's better.
Yeah, seems to be, doesn't it? That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
Usually
yeah,
everything
that's
works with Chrome and not Safari, but
Yeah.
there we go. We shall see.
So
Please
yes.
don't confuse me any more than I'm already confused.
Yes. Don't
Yeah.
listen to the techie talk. You don't need to know.
There you,
All right.
there you go. But
Save it for the comedians to talk about Excel spreadsheets and math and tech talk for all the IT guys from San Diego.
I'm excited.
Where's Justin Workman? You, me, and him should meet up for that. I was a nuclear operator. I'm sure I understand some Excel jokes or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know how what the angle is on sort of tech jokes in terms of whether you're just sort of playing with statistics. I did see a comedian once that did a skit around PowerPoint, and he was like taking the mickey out of PowerPoint. I can see that, all the charts that we have, charts for this and charts for that, and then if you combine the two charts, you end up with a very, very strange conclusion. So that was kind of cool. But
yeah, speaking of statistics and masculinity, I have some crazy facts to share if you want to get serious.
Well,
Do we want to get serious?
Let's get one. Good question.
Well, take
Well
that as a
said,
no.
Margaret. Do we want to get serious? For a minute. Go on, share with us.
So I've been doing a couple episodes on male sexual assault, violence, and awareness, and all that. And what's interesting, I found out here in America, the statistics had said 1 in 17 men experience, sexual violence or assault. And then they changed the way they classified it, and it dropped down to, or jumped up, so to speak, depending how you look at it, to 1 in 4. Previously, the FBI in America, this is according to the guest on my show, so I haven't fact checked it yet because that episode came out this morning. But he said that if the victim was a male and penetrated, it was no longer considered sexual assault or violence because they penetrated, which meant any man who was roofied, any child who was taken advantage of, any man who was coerced was not included in the statistics because they penetrated even as the victim. And so when you talk about really making it hard for men to speak up in America about this stuff, which I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but that blew my mind. So that was a statistic I want to share, that 1 in 17. Then you changed it to, hey, no, even if I penetrated as a victim, I didn't consent to that. And then it goes to 1 in 4. That's a big jump, 1 in 17 to 1 in 4. So I thought that was it just blew my mind that people, in the government and the higher places that run these statistics could even say to themselves, oh, well, because the victim penetrated, they must have enjoyed it. And this could be as young as 3 years old. So it's truly sickening.
In the law in the UK states rape can only be committed by men because of that very thing about the penetration. But men can't be raped, only women. But there was 725,000 reported cases of sexual and domestic abuse on men, but they're recorded not as men being victims, but as women.
Wow.
So in the statistics, they're recorded as women, not men.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't get a clearer picture. I mean, I work in children's services, and you can see the dynamics. I mean, I've been doing men's work for 22 years, so a lot of people who are getting involved in the men's work now, it's been going on for years, decades, and I mean decades. And the stuff that they're talking about has always been spoken about. I mean, like when I came to the discussion yesterday, it was interesting listening to the author, because some of those things, I mean, like in the UK, the Fatherhood Institute was the voluntary sector advocacy and networking body that lobbied government for men and fathers, hence the Fatherhood Institute. And they had research and campaigns and all kinds of different things about men and fathers, about young boys, young men, anything pertaining to men and fathers. So like when Richard Reeves pops up now, like he's the god of men and masculinity, it's like, you know, he's just reached, really. He's just come. He might have been doing it in the background, but he's been elevated to this status where, you know, he's the man. But that's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
This work has been going on for decades. The studies stretching back to the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, where they're looking at men, looking at the impact they have on children, looking at all these different things. So I think it's a misnomer and disrespectful to the people that have been doing work. I mean, I worked with two absolutely phenomenal guys based up in Newcastle, David Van der Veld and Roger Ollie, and they worked for Children North East Fathers Plus. Now, Roger was a health visitor and David worked in marketing and stuff, but their work with men and fathers was like groundbreaking work. Do you know what I mean? And the stuff around mental health and about understanding men in relation to the wider society and loads of different things. I mean, I'm 60, first generation born immigrant. My parents came here in the late 50s, early 60s. So any immigrant population that's come to the UK, and I have to add this proviso, the white working class, you may as well class them as immigrants because they're not like the middle class and they're not like the upper class, but they divide. So when I was growing up at school, there was working class white kids and there was the immigrants, and we all grew up together, but it's never framed in that manner. So what works for the black kids is the same for the white kids because we mixed and matched. They were in our house, we were in their house, but society's separated them. The middle class have said, well, no, that's not my background. I never came from that, which is a lie, because most of them, they did. You've defined yourself out of your career, which is what the middle classes are, teaching, nursing, the police, those kind of things. That was the old middle class. It's not like now. It's just based on your money. It was your vocation, it was your profession, it was your understanding of where you stood in life and where you stood in terms of society. That's gone. America that's the model that the UK is going towards, but the American model is dead because it stops people acknowledging their humanity. Everything's either or, with this, with that, with this, with that. But the dream is money. Money, 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 how much you can get. So my guy's saying he's a masculinity expert. You can only be the expert of yourself.
That's true.
Can't be the expert of anything else. Nobody can speak for me in very personal terms, but we can speak to general trends. And if we speak to the general trends, everybody fits into that because they're human things. They're not a man thing. They're not a woman thing. Like,
yeah, that's interesting, because it comes full circle. When you talk about trends and identifying where people fit or where people sit, and to Mr. Whiskey's point about, you can just, if someone rocks up and changes the goalposts so that a statistic goes from 1 in 17 to 1 in 4, when in actual fact, those instances that they are applying those statistics too, if you like. If you got 1,000 people impacted by assault, there's still 1,000 people impacted by assault, whether you make it 1 in 4 or 1 in 17.
Exactly.
You know, it's just that when you make it 1 in 4, you either shine more of a light or less of a light on the issue, or you try and attract different kind of interests to the issue, or you're trying to sort of obfuscate the problem so that it doesn't look as bad, or you know. So the application of a statistical guideline to something doesn't change the underlying fact that there are people suffering trauma through abuse or being a victim of aggression, regardless of the stat. But like you said, it's interesting, you know, to your point, Mr. Whiskey, what does it mean when what does changing the stat from 1 in 17 to 1 in 4 do for that community or that group that are affected by this?
It
And to Balance's
minimizes.
point,
It minimizes stuff. It takes the humanity out of the issue and makes it a set of numbers. This amount of people have experienced X. If you spoke to any one of those people, you'd resonate with them. You might not have gone through the exact same experience, but how it feels, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel angry. You're going to feel this injustice. You're going to feel all these things. So when we speak about connection, like I said, I've been in children's services 30 odd years. We never measured our interactions with people through statistics. It was case studies. The older folks, we know. So when people start chatting, and I'm just being myself, when people start talking about data and analytics and statistics and whatever, what they're doing is they're taking away the human element of whatever the issue is. Because if I can reduce you to a number, yeah, I disconnect you from one, yourself, and two, from other people. And I have to get this in. I remember 1993, I read a book. It was called Behold the Pale Horse. And it was written by an ex-CIA analyst. If you go on Amazon or Google and type in the name, you might be able to find it. But in it, the first chapter was Quiet Weapons for Secret Wars. And what it explained is a process that we're literally sat right in. I reduce you to a number. Statistics and data are the thing that rule. And that the law, is usurped by this idea of safety. So you as a human being, if I don't see you as a human being, I can do whatever I want. But if you're a human being, which we all are, and we feel, people are going to stand up and say, this isn't right, or that's not right. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of connection, we all of us as a global community or a small community, we connect with one another as people, but we're losing the art. And we're educating children to be brought up on one of these. And this is the way they get hold of you. This is how they will kill you. Not physically, they'll kill your mind, because they will tell you this is the right thing to do. So, you know, I wrote a thing the other day, talking about Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate was born in Luton, and Andrew Tate was in a single-headed household. So his idea and his view of the world, he had to be, and he became who he is. But there's lots of things that he's saying that resonate, because when I was growing up, the way you tested yourself. You was out on street, and if someone wanted to fight, you had a fight.
Mm.
That was it. You had a fight. That's men. That's what we do. We test one another. It's not right. It's not wrong. But it's not evolutionarily, however you want. It's that. It's about testing your boundaries, understanding, because the men do that with the children when they're growing up. The bounce, the rough and tumble. We do that, boys and girls. So why are they differentiating all these things to make life so complicated when really it's quite easy? It's quite simple. It's very
I
simple.
think one thing I will say is now I haven't consumed a lot of Andrew Tate content, but there's ways to put forward masculinity in a way. In the episode where I pulled these statistics from, which, Steve, to your point, is okay, you've changed it from 1 in 17 to 1 in 4. Are you doing more about it then? Or are you doing the same thing? Right. But in that episode, we talked about sharing your story without diminishing others, right? And we talked about the importance of not blame, like if you've been a victim of sexual assault, not villainizing a whole entire other gender, right? The importance of sharing your story without diminishing others. I think of masculinity, right? I'm a huge David Goggins fan, right? And he puts forward being a tough guy, but in a different way than Andrew Tate. He doesn't glamorize life. He doesn't villainize women. He just is like you versus you. Andrew Tate, I feel like, puts forward a masculinity, you versus everyone. So like they both put forward a tough guy mentality. And to be honest, I think David Goggins would definitely win a fight against Andrew Tate. And, he does it without putting down others, I feel like. I mean, he might call people out on not being out there, right? But I feel like Andrew Tate, at least from what I've seen, kind of puts forward masculinity in a way that kind of puts down others, right? Especially women from some of the stuff I've seen. And so I think there's different ways to go about it. And
I'm not defending Andrew Tate.
What I'm saying, no, I know.
It's contextual. He's come from a certain specific background. David Goggins, it's the same. They've come from a specific background. You can look at the correlation between the two. It's expressed differently because they've taken different routes.
Yeah.
So they'll appeal to different people in that way. But the message fundamentally is the same. Sort yourself out. You look at you take responsibility for yourself. What you don't know, challenge yourself. What you're good at, perfect it, hone it, share it with other people, because it's not you. You are part of something bigger. You'll always be part of something bigger. Do you know what I mean? So I agree what you're saying 100%. But that's been the thing with men's work. All the different varied.
We live in a day and age of celebrities and idolization. And what you mentioned is like the people. I had an episode, Joshua Daniel. I always had to ask. He's the one hosting the Hero Games, which is the special forces competition that I'm training for the charity to raise money for the fallen, special forces family members. And what he talked about is all the silent selflessness. So all the military members who are non-combat deployed, who don't get recognition for what they do. And he talked about his father has been a foreman at a graveyard for over 40 years, wakes up 4:30 a.m. or 4:15 every morning and makes sure that people are buried properly and with respect. And he talked about there's no recognition for him. So I hear a lot what you're saying about there are a lot of men who do men's work who don't get this celebrity or idolization. Like they're out here every day and they've been doing it before some of these people who have been pedestalized. Like Steve Wright. I mean, he hosts this every day and it's a huge thing. Don't get me wrong. Tune in live if you want. But, Steve Wright might never ever be put on an influencer level or a hero level, even though he's touched many lives. Same with all of us. And I think that's part of one of the most toxic parts of social media and the youth is this, idolization and celebrity life that we're living.
Mm-hmm. The halo effect is also a real problem in the sense that if someone's known for one thing, you ascribe that celebrity status to everything in their life. So you can be a great athlete, but you could be a terrible parent, you know, but because you're in the spotlight for one thing, people ascribe those redeeming qualities to you in every area of your life.
Like Haley Welch, the Talk to a Girl, got a podcast. She had Mark Cuban on her show. Everyone was like, "Oh, she must be a genius because she was famous for making a dirty joke." And it's like you said, you're just an expert of everything now. Like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But Margaret has to jump off. I wanted her
Yeah,
to
I'm
just
so
comment.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Any parting thoughts for you, Margaret?
Many, many, many. I grew up in a family. I had 7 brothers, so you know, it was kind of male dominated, and I have a lot of thoughts about what is being shared here. I also worked in domestic violence when I was working in Seattle many years ago, so I have some understanding of this. And you know, the big thing is we can only treat each thing individually. This is an incident. How do we manage this so that people are not overly harmed, overly traumatized, overly, you know, taken advantage of? And I'm sorry I have to jump off because I would love to have contributed more and heard more.
That's great. And to your point, thank you, Margaret. And we'll see you again. We'll see you again
Bless
soon.
you. Have a lovely week.
Yes.
Bye.
Paul Dietz. It should come on, Paul.
I believe it's Bruce Lee.
Just join us. But
I believe Bruce Lee said that quote, if I'm not mistaken, because that's one of my favorite quotes as well.
What's that?
I think it was Bruce Lee said the warrior in a garden rather than a gardener in war. Don't credit with me that. I'm pretty sure it was Bruce Lee.
I'd rather be a warrior in a
I gotta
garden
look
than
it
a
up now.
gardener in a war. Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, I'd posted. It always comes up LinkedIn user. It never comes up with my name for some reason. Carl, you can help me with that. I don't know why.
It says
I always show up as LinkedIn user. One death is a
Miyamoto
tragedy. 1 million deaths is a statistics, and that's attributed to Stalin, and that's where I heard it from. And it comes back to that point whereby if you staticize, if that's a word, things that are personal, then you take the person out of it. And to Margaret's final point there is that you treat every incident as that incident. When you collect them as statistics, then there's a understandable there's scale, and you know we can't be naive in that respect. But even when you scale, there's got to be a way to scale so that there's still connection and understanding and humanity in the number, and not just shifting it from 1 in 4 to 1 in 17 or vice versa because some group wants to have a better number to present to somebody.
And one thing I'll say is when I did an episode on Callisto, it's a nonprofit that helps stop and track repeat sexual offenders by connecting the same victims. And the woman shared a great point of view. She said that if you're a father, right? She talked to a man once, and she's like, "You keep saying your daughter's not allowed to go on dates. Why? Who are you protecting her from?" He goes, "Well, all the evil men out there." And she goes, "So you're raising your daughter to grow up thinking that all men are evil, right? Because you're saying all men are evil. I don't want her dating any boys." She goes, "We need to have the conversation. There are good men who do bad things. There are bad men who do good things. And in between, it's not just there are bad men and good men only. You know, as they say, not everything is black and white. There's a lot of gray, you know, in between." And that really shifted my perspective. You know, she said some of the most famous sexual abusers were great people, publicly did great things, you know, but did some really bad things, and vice versa. So I that really shifted my mindset, because I've always thought the same thing. Like, I have a younger sister. It was always, you're not allowed to talk to boys, you know, and it's always, you know, I'm not scared of her making bad decisions. You know, like I say, no, you can't go out because I know what guys do. You know, I trust you. I don't trust men. But then you instill that mentality into all our young women that don't trust men. Men are evil. You know, there are no good men. But then when you put forward, oh, all guys are good, none of them are bad, you have the opposite spectrum. So I think it's very interesting.
I think listening to the conversation and looking at Paul's quote, like about men and emotional regulation and so forth, if you look at like an unusual fact about me. I have I've been working with a Hindu guru for the last 22 years, there or thereabout. And the purpose of a guru is, in Hindu philosophy, is to teach you about the truth about yourself, the whole entire truth. So this whole idea, when people start talking about masculinity and femininity, they're not out. They are the attributes that you possess within yourself, and you have masculine and feminine traits within yourself. So when the two of those things come into balance, you can say, I'm a whole human being. But the way they're used in society is that men are masculine and women are feminine, and they're interchangeable. These masculine women and feminine it's right in one way, but it doesn't convey the whole thing. So the whole idea about emotional regulation and being yourself. If you think about biology, I trained as a chemist, so science is kind of, I've got a thing there. We start as feeling people, feeling beings, energetic feeling beings, not verbal, not in your head. What's my guy's name? Van der Kolk, who says the body keeps score. You house more memory in your body than you do in your brain. So it's about understanding the mind-body connection. But then we'll say men aren't emotionally regulated. Who's brought up men? Who's socialized men? And it's not a blame thing. It's about acknowledging that both men and women have a responsibility to themselves to understand who they are and look at their patterns and look at their trauma and look at all these things, because nothing's random. That's what they learn in yoga. Nothing's random. Nothing.
Let me jump in there. I've got another guest joining us, Yvonne. Let me get you on
Came
the
to
screen
say
here.
hello. I'm totally late, right? So I just wanted
Fashionably
to
late.
say hello. Why? You can wish me a happy birthday,
Oh, there you go.
and
Yvonne,
then I'm gonna say goodbye.
I love you. Thanks for coming in. Wishing you a happy birthday. Have you got plans for today?
Oh, just every day is a happy. Every day is a new birthday. Believe me.
Trust me. I love that. I love that. How's the weather in New York?
Hot.
Hot. Yeah, it's hot here too. So
It's hot. It's hot. What are you guys talking about?
talking about
We are. Our conversation got very deep. My bad / my good. I asked permission first. I said, Steve, I got some serious stuff to bring up, but this is going to be an amazing episode of the One on One Thing podcast. Check it out. Hosted by Steve Wright. Airs every whatever time it airs.
there you go.
We are talking about masculinity and male sexual assault and mindset. And right now we're talking about emotional regulation. And it's a lot of interesting stuff.
I'm going to listen. This is not my conversation, but I will listen. So I'm going to wish you all a pleasant day
Oh,
and a blessed day.
yes. Enjoy it.
And enjoy.
Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
birthday.
Happy
Thanks for
birthday.
jumping in,
Congrats on
Yvonne.
29.
Always good to see you.
All right.
Happy birthday, Yvonne.
You can fix this because I don't know how to fix it.
I could,
You know what to do, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Huh? You know
Yep.
what to do? Okay, good.
All right, cool. Thank you. So
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hop in, you too can using the Restream link. It is available right there. Hop on in. Let us say happy birthday. We could do shout outs for $1 each for your family members. Just DM Steve, say, hey, it's my cousin's birthday, my cousin Tony, whoever it is, and we'll give him a shout out.
There you
Patreon and the Cash App are also in the description for at Coach Sawright Coaching or something like that. Steve, I do want to say real quick, I do learn a lot here because the other day I impressed a whole swarm of white American women because we passed a Jamaican restaurant. I said, did any of y'all celebrate Jamaican Independence Day the other day? Because I did, courtesy of Steve Wright. And they were very actually, I made them feel bad for not celebrating Jamaican Independence Day. I told them how you deem me an honorary Jamaican, and how I also told them Steve Wright freed Jamaica, and they believed it because they don't know history. So now a bunch of white American women think that you single-handedly freed Jamaica, and that's why you had the big. I told him he had a special robe and shirt, and it said Jamaica on it, and he was playing instruments. And I did what I do best. I wove a little story about you and Jamaica, and we all celebrated. We didn't go in and eat. I felt bad. I was like, hold on, I gotta go celebrate now.
Yeah, jerk chicken and Oreos. I don't think so.
Jerk sauce Oreos. Yeah.
No,
That would be quite the dynamic. We should try that sometime. We got to do a live stream.
Cool. Carl, you're quiet. I know you're always deep in thought and reflection.
Listening with agility.
Yeah, well, I am listening with agility. You know, I'm interactive listening, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just listening and observing. Yeah, it's a deep conversation. And
one thing that we just talked about in terms of who's raising the men, and I think that was part of the discussion yesterday. Talked about sort of the I guess the shift in generations, the context in which generations function, and therefore raise the next generation. You know, one of my favorite authors is Khalil Gibran, and he wrote the book, The Poet, the Prophet.
Yeah.
And he talks about, he's got a passage about children. And I've quoted it a few times on things when I've expressed gratitude to my kids, is that I can't live in their world. I can only sort of guide them to their expression from my reference, but I can't be in them. I can't be in that space with them. It's not my space to be in, you know, as I guess generationally or parental, you know. So the best I can do is be the strong bow so that the arrows fly true, you know, and far, and wherever they go is their target, not mine. So that, all that to say is that, you know, my mum raised me single mum, did best she could do with what she had. That was her time, her experience. Episode 38 in the in the podcast interview with my mum, which was a real eye opener. We're close, but it's just interesting when you sit in a format of a podcast discussion or just a discussion, and you hear her say things to a public that she doesn't know about her life growing up, and, you know, her interaction with me, raising me, which is just really it's touching in a sense to have that. I would encourage anybody to have that kind of discussion, interview or otherwise. I did it with my stepdad before he passed. He died of cancer, and I went to visit him in Jamaica, and my visit was just to see my mum, obviously, because she was caring for him, but also to see him. And it's bizarre when you know that when you leave somebody, you're not going to see them again. So the discussions are the discussions are more on purpose.
Yeah.
They carry some more weight with them. And then the actual goodbye was just strange. It was just surreal because it carried that weight with it. But it was refreshing to have the discussion, though. That's what my point is, not to be doom and gloom. It's to find yourself in spaces where you can have those discussions. And if you can do that with people in your space that you care about, do it before it's too late, and recognize that, you know, those discussions are important. So raising up the next generation, I raised my mom's grandkids and my kids, and it's a different style of parenting from me to my mum, her generation. I'm influenced by it, and I don't know how my kids are going to navigate and work with, if they have kids.
Well, I think that this goes back to the celebrity conversation, and, you know, Mr. Rees brought up the phone, you know, earlier. A lot of children are being more influenced by social media and these celebrities than their parents. So now how is that going to change the generational effects?
Mm.
And side note, Steve, you should have your mom join us at the water cooler sometime. You know, that would be interesting to see if you change how you act or not. But what I'll say is, I like a quote. I don't know where it's from. I just heard it once. Hard times make strong people make good times make soft people. And that was looking at the generational cycles of how, you know, World War affected the people after that, how that generation affected people after that, and vice versa. And I think what's interesting is to see, like, I feel like, I mean, we talked about being born and given a tablet at 1 year old. I mean, sometimes 5 months old, which, you know, I plan on homeschooling. I plan on being technology is going to be incorporated in effective, beneficial ways. Definitely not a substitution for parenting, which we see a lot of neglect and substitution for parenting. And I think it's interesting because it's like, back in the day, as a parent, I say that like I was born with you, Steve. Back in the day, you had influence over a kid and maybe some other people in the community. That was it. Now you're competing with every other Steve Wright on the internet, every other guy, from Andrew Tate to David Goggins to Matt Rife to any of these, quote, celebrities, quote, these influencers. And, you know, don't even get me started on the algorithms programming to target young men and young women and make them certain ways. This is just social media. If you get me going about mainstream rap and other stuff, we'll be here all day.
But I mean, that's the thing. I'm 60, probably the same age as Steve, probably the same age as, sorry, I can't see your name. Do you know what I mean? We're all around the same age. So we've got certain types of influences that have impacted our life. Take it outside of the home, whether you was one parent or two parent. When you went to school, you had you had your peer group. Now that peer group was influenced by a fairly narrow set of parameters, whether you was white or black, don't matter, Asian, it did, girl or boy, narrow parameters. There were certain things that were just there. I know it sounds a bit freaky to say. All the boys knew who were the popular girls. All the girls knew who were the, questionable guys. We knew. We just knew. It was a thing. You spoke about it. The girls stayed with the girls. The boys stayed with the boys. We interacted. Boys spoke about boy stuff, sports, yeah? But there was a community outside of that. So when you grew up, if my dad knew your dad and your dad seeing me on the street, your dad's going to look at me and think, "Yeah, Barrington, what are you doing?" Whether you're white or black or Asian, that happened across the board. Nobody questioned it. And people knew people. Like I know people now all over the UK just through going to youth clubs and nightclubs. But we still got a good friendship because what brought us together was a set of circumstances and a context that created a connection. Whereas now, young people, they still do it now. It's just different. And you have to know how to break through the influence of this.
Yeah.
You have to be able to speak how those people on the internet are speaking, but you're speaking from a place where you know them because you know their parents. You know that community because you live there. And that's one thing that none of them celebrities can talk about, because I've listened to some of them and I'm thinking, well, you're talking a good talk, but how do I do it? Tell me how to do it, because you're not doing that. Whereas if you spoke to me personally, I could tell you, well, try this, try this, try this. Come back and speak to me tomorrow or the next day. There's that.
Yeah, well, and it's hard to tell with the internet who is questionable or who is popular because you see all the highlights. Some people are vulnerable, authentic, like Steve Wright and I'm sure Carl and y'all, right? We're authentic when we're online. But there's a lot of people who aren't. A lot of people are highlights. A lot of people are making fake lives for themselves, So it's it's different. Like in person, I mean, people can still deceive you in person, don't get me wrong, but the internet has made it so much more so, especially with anonymous accounts and fake names and profile pictures and all this and that. And now even more with the AI. Like I just posted a reel. I was on a show behind the camera with Andy Games. And I was talking about, people, and I had an episode on my show for relationship couples. People are uploading their texts to ChatGPT and saying, how do I respond to my partner so they stay? Or how do I respond to my partner so they do X, Y, Z type of this email for me, and talk about the humanity of it. Like I had a friend, he's trying to fix his relationship with his sister, and he sent me a text. I was like, this is pretty good, X, Y, Z. He's like, thanks, I had AI make it. I was like, brother, if you're trying to fix your relationship with your sister, you got to speak from the heart. I said, you plugged in a Bible quote and a general theme of forgiveness and healing and gave some context to an AI. I mean, I said, people try to argue. Now it's the argument of, are prompt inputters artists or creators? And it's like, the more we input prompts, the less humanity we have. And I asked a question on the episode. I said, are the texts you're getting today AI generated? Are your emails AI generated? How do you know? And it's funny, the guest I had on my show, he was coaching a client on dating, and he's on the apps or whatever, and he looked at his text. He said, brother, you got ChatGPT write these. And the guy was like, yeah. I mean, I can imagine, I'm not, and I don't use AI so much or analyze it so much that I could tell you. I can sometimes tell you if a message is AI generated or not. It gets harder and harder every day, but I could imagine, they in Diary of a CEO covered an episode on this as well. It was like, imagine, your partner says, did you have AI, generate all that? And you say, yes. It is like, are you, and it's taken away. The woman said that she studied the science behind it, and there are certain parts of the brain that are actually dying or not being regenerated because of the use of AI. And I've done full episodes dedicated to just how it's affecting people socially, because if you grew up in a community like you, Mr. Reeves, like you had to have the people, they were themselves. With AI, with these AI bots, with all these AI text message chats and these things, you make it to how you like. AI is conforming everything around you to your liking. The real world is having to deal with and learn how to deal with everything around you. There isn't, hey, this girl is cute, but she's kind of annoying, so I'm just going to change the prompt so she, is nicer when she talks. Or, hey, this guy, he never pulls his weight on the group project, so now I'm going to change the prompt so he does more work. It's like, it's teaching terrible. So it's this destruction of social skills and human behavior, and it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, it's what, it's funny because I've often said before, the introduction of smartphones made us dumber. I mean, I'm of a generation where you had a landline that was fixed. It was in the corner of the living room, or it's in the hallway.
Two cans and a string.
You didn't just have a telephone that was wired. You had a seat next to it. You had furniture that was built to like, see, everyone's nodding. I was waiting for the nods from my fellow brothers here. You had a piece of furniture that was designed to accommodate your telephone. You had a little drawer where you pulled it out, and you had an address book in there. And when you had to call somebody, you went to that spot in the house. You opened the drawer, you opened the book, you thumbed down to the letter of their name, and you opened the page and you dialed the number. Yeah, I mean. And now, yes, on the rotary dial. That's right. Yeah.
Now, we had the phone lock as well. Do you remember the phone lock? Yeah, with the key.
You got around it, you know how to get around that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Tap.
Poor Mr. Whiskey's got no idea what we're talking about.
No, yeah.
Steve, everything you said I followed, but the phone lock, I don't know about that. That's a little beyond my.
Get the lowdown from a history.
Literally a lot.
Yeah. The load. Yeah. If Trump hasn't changed the history yet, it's in the history book still. Okay. You used to tap out the number.
That's it.
Back in the day.
Yeah, the STN, wasn't it?
But all that to say, I mean, I wouldn't want those days back today. Sure, I can say Siri called somebody, and they called them for me, so that's fine. I get that. It's recognizing the cost of those things being introduced to our lives. When smartphone didn't make us, the smartphone didn't make us smarter. It was just a smarter device in our hand. So what do we lose from a smartphone? What do we gain from a smartphone? And the same question has to be asked about AI technology. Your point about are prompters artists or creators is really insightful, because it's one thing having a large language model learn about things that will take you years or decades or generations to learn about, and present them to you in a summarized form or a nuanced form based on the language model. That's a useful use of aggregating technology. I get that. When you start thinking that you can prompt that model to go change the world, in the sense that someone else has got a bad attitude, what's the prompt that I would create to change their attitude without necessarily doing the work myself? And okay, even if AI gives you the answer, you still have to affect the change. I could have it prompt me for an idea for a show, but I still have to deliver the show.
It's funny because I'm a mad Matrix fan. No, I am. I watch it. I keep watching it, but I watch them all together, 1 to 4. And when I seen number 4 is about self-realization. That whole trilogy is about self-realization. Yeah. So AI technology is replicating the process that the mind body goes through. That's all it's doing. But because it's machine learning, which is what the Matrix is, the self versus a machine. Yeah. The one thing a machine doesn't have, it has to have a human to program it. And it can learn. But the one thing it can't do is feel. AI can't feel, never will be able to. So, like mundane tasks, it can develop and perfect them so they become very efficient. But the one thing that differentiates humans from machines is that we feel, and it's contextual. So me being on this platform today with you guys, we've made a connection. What that will be in the next 2 weeks or a year, there might be something you hear or anyone or I hear that 3 weeks from now, a snippet of this conversation comes in my head. Oh, yeah, I remember when Steve said that. I remember when Mr. Whiskey said that. I remember, oh, right, okay. Click. Something makes sense. A computer won't do that. A computer will give you forward motion all the time, or regurgitate facts.
There's something you said there. I wrote it down. Actually, let me try this. See if this works. My camera changes. There it is. It did change. So,
if I can't read that, I know everyone else in the call can't read that.
We're too old.
yeah.
Means machines can't feel. Do we care?
Do we care?
You know, what I feel is like everyone should subscribe to the One to One Thing podcast. They should leave an honest review on Apple or Spotify. That's where I feel.
Well, yes, I wholeheartedly agree, Mr. Whiskey. Thank you for being the voice, the external,
the marketing
expression of
expert for Steve Wright.
My inside voice. But that machines can't feel, and I said, do we care? We sometimes our interactions with media, social or otherwise, or technology, can put us in a place where we don't think about the empathy. I wouldn't empathize with ChatGPT. I wouldn't empathize with Claude. You can give it a human name. I mean, people give their dogs human names to give you more connection with the, with the animal. That's fine. Oh, that's a plug for the.
That's a
for
plug
Whiskey
for my
Show.
dog. I named my my ChatGPT is named Steve Wright 2.0.
Oh, stop it!
No, I'm just kidding.
It better not be.
No. It's I didn't give it a name actually, specifically because I said you're a tool, you serve a function, and I do say please and thank you. I feel bad, just I'm not going to be mean to it because it's like it's just about living life with respect and integrity, right? I mean, I'm sure I could curse at ChatGPT, but there's no need to, right? And in the same way, it's like incorporating that. I think about the youth. If we tell them, hey, you can talk to ChatGPT however you want, they're going to talk to people however they want to, because they're going to be talking to ChatGPT like it's a person and then treat others like that. So I think it's important to incorporate respect into your conversations with ChatGPT, just as like practice what you put forward. And that's why I'll say you shouldn't have to, like bribe it or kiss up to it, or, be nice to it in case it becomes alive and then it doesn't sabotage you. But I think just looking at the social like ripple effect is something to consider. If you have children on these AIs, how are they talking to the AIs? And is that reflective of how they're going to talk to people? Yes or no?
Yeah. I was on an AI call, Simon Banks, Carl.
Yeah.
Video producer. Yeah. He had a sort of a live Zoom discussion about AI in his industry, especially in video production. And it's interesting. A couple of his recent posts have talked about how the AI in video technology is really coming up. So a lot of the people in his audience were in that industry. But what was my thought on that? Someone had mentioned, I lost my train of thought, which was someone mentioned that, the please and thank yous when you talk to a machine. I think Sam, the guy from OpenAI, said it wastes a lot of energy for the machine to respond to a thank you. Which is interesting, because if someone says thank you and please, if someone says please and thank you in my life, I don't see that as a waste of energy.
Yeah, you're talking about a human. I mean, what we're talking about here is AI. But what about an AI, as far as we know it, the general public became aware of it when ChatGPT was released on the 30th of November 22. It's nearly 3 years old. What happens in 1, maybe 2 years' time when we start talking about AE, artificial emotion?
Oh,
well, some of my ex-girlfriends could use that. Let me know when that goes on the market. Let me know when that goes on the market. I'll pay $20 a month for that.
Thank you for the comic relief on that one there.
It's in the word. It's artificial.
Yeah. The key word is artificial.
It's artificial. It's generated. Human beings taking 50,000. Your senses are taking in everything from everywhere, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And it's nuanced based on your energy and your aura and your beliefs and your little nuances. A computer don't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
What's the upside? What's the upside? I mean, again, we're of a generation where our parents people in the 20s were looking at machines revolutionizing societies, in the sense that a machine would do a man's work day in minutes. Therefore, that man has got all this resource and time and recreation. And I mean, I guess even if you looked at movies back in those days that had dates, which are actually, there's sci-fi movies back in those days, those dates have already passed, year 2000 and 2020, all those kind of catchy numbers, which were fictitious for them in the 20s and 30s. We're now in the 20s again, so
In 2012, the world was going to end, right? I mean, wasn't there a movie
Mayan calendar.
2012?
Yeah. So my point is that to Carl's point about artificial emotion, and even to Barrington's point about the artificialness of the term, what's the promise? If someone says, "Oh, I wish there was two of me," I'm just so busy. I wish there was two of me to do this. Well, what's the other one going to do? If you don't, you're still.
I'm going to the water cooler, and the other one is vacuuming the floor and doing the dishes. But Steve, to your point, there are AI sex bots online where now, to the point now, it started with you could text them, and to Paul's point here, there are artificial emotions because there are AIs that are programmed to flirt with you, to talk dirty to you, to send AI generated nudes of themselves. And there are even AI bots now that you can tell it's like a video app, and it's a woman in a room. And I don't know if you can generate how the woman looks or if you select for models. I don't, actually use it, but you can tell it prompts like, "Oh, turn around," and it'll turn around, and you could say, "Take your clothes off," or whatever, and it'll respond in a way that's meant to stimulate, men's lust, so it's, for lack of better words, so it's like, in that point, I mean, are those emotions? I mean, invoking AI can invoke lust, and it can do that. I mean, what kind of artificial emotion classification is that? Again, it doesn't have empathy. I mean, the AI can say it loves me and that I'm very handsome and my abs are really nice and all this and that, and take its clothes off, but it's like, it doesn't mean it. There's no passion to it. And even if we have, I've been seeing some of the robots that are AI powered sex bots in like Japan and other countries, it's like they can go through the motions. But if you've ever been with a woman who doesn't love you and she kisses you, you can feel the lack of emotion. And it's going to be the same feeling with a robot, where it's like almost like kissing a corpse, so to speak.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's you're hoping he's opened up that can and he's going to leave now. And actually, I'm 1 hour 12, and I'm mindful that this is a replay. It's on replay, so I try and keep it within an hour. But I've gone over because it's been great topics, and we may have to pick this up in another water cooler. But thank you so much. I was just going to say that some of this stuff is already in our world through social media, and it doesn't, if a language model is learning from platforms, then we are training it through our social media interactions. If we interact without care, if we interact without sympathy or empathy, then when we're talking on platforms in a way that we would never talk to the person in real life.
That's what we do on Instagram and Twitter, specifically X. It's hateful, it's racist, it's violent, it's misogynistic. And if you trained an AI on just the Instagram comment section, I mean, exactly what you're talking about, Steve, we would train it to be a terrible person.
It's out there already. So regardless of, and anything that we use that's free, we are the product. So there's, as much as they've got caveats in terms of how they're training, someone's using something to train something else that is going to come back and bite us, either scam us or mislead us or tweak statistics in their favor or do something. But I'm going to wrap up here. Carl's got to go. Barrington, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for joining and your contributions. Paul Deitch, as always, a pleasure. Margaret, thank you for jumping in. Yvonne, happy birthday again. Mr. Whiskey.
I'm actually not even real. I am an AI generated from the past water coolers. I've been uploading all of them into AI software, and this was all AI generated. I just want you to know that. That's why I've got this shirt on. It's actually
your head starts going like this, like that means you're glitching, right?
Yeah, look how many fingers I have. See, what would you done if I should have gotten a fake finger and had like 6 fingers? See, but I didn't think to prank you. So next week.
That's a great prosthetic joke to have now for Halloween. Walk around with 6 fingers and say that you're an AI, you're AI generated. or a few
Yeah.
rows of teeth. That
I
works
need
as
to,
well.
or I need to get like one of my eyes to like, kind of be somewhere.
Black
Yeah.
Mirror, the Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll have my beard and mustache grown out by then. So, right now it looks AI generated because it's missing a couple patches, but
Thank
Oh
you.
my
See you
goodness.
soon, guys. Good
Thank
to
you,
meet you.
gentlemen. It's been a real pleasure. We'll catch up again next week. Mr. Whiskey, I just
Ketchup
catch
or
with you.
Oreos.
Catch up on Oreos. You're posting your progress. How's it going? Because I keep thinking of you every time I jump right.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's been, you know what I did? I was thinking of you because I played soccer, football, as you call it, with a weighted vest. And that was the best workout so far.
Wow.
Sprinting back and forth, all the ankle turns, weighted vest, and doing stuff like that, getting out of the gym
Good
and doing
functional
this
work.
actual like stuff. Yeah. Walking, doing a treadmill at 15 incline, just, sprinting straight uphill. And I've got the fitness hula hoop. Stay tuned for a video of that later today after
please.
my nap. And doing weighted push-ups, all kinds of stuff,
Oh my
so
goodness. Well, keep tracking your
time is
progress.
flying. I needed like 3 months at least. But you know what? What am I saying? Each week, each day is a week or something according to your
For a week,
timeline.
yeah.
So according to your timeline, I've been training for like 3 months already. So
I know, 3 weeks already.
yeah. But Steve, as always, I'll catch you
Man, yeah.
hopefully next week.
Good. I will let you know if and when I get to this this Edinburgh Fringe Festival and see this comic. I'll share with you what I learned from.
Yeah, you gotta take a little selfie video and then put it in the chat for everyone to see.
Yeah, we'll do.
Write down your favorite joke.
Yes, yeah. I'd see if I can. Yeah, if I get with permission, I might recount it. So we'll see.
Awesome. All right, Steve.
All right,
Well,
buddy.
take
Have
care.
a great day.